The Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act is a massive 2,300-page law created because of the financial crisis that struck our country between 2007 and 2010. Given public outrage and a demand for a policy response to this economic collapse, major legislative action was initiated by Congress in 2009 and signed into law by the President in July of 2010. The government stepped in with the stated aim of promoting the financial stability of the United States. As community bankers, we have always known that not all banks are created equal. ICBA members were born on the main streets of cities and towns across our nation and have remained strongly connected to those communities. We know adopting a law that regulates all banks equally is like creating a law that treats all hardware stores as if they were Home Depot. And now regulators and the general public know that too. Rather than standing on the sidelines while legislation is proposed and new regulations are adopted, ICBA, along with our state community bank association allies, has stepped in to continue to level the playing field for community banks. We strongly believe it is better to light a candle than curse the darkness. Working within the legislative process to ensure community banks are as protected as possible, rather than to be obstructionist, we are focusing lawmakers and regulators on correcting the abuses of Wall Street and the causes of the financial crisis. While some harmful measures could not be modified or eliminated despite strong opposition, the results so far are 16 exemptions and statutory changes to help community banks. In fact, out of 16 titles, only 8 affect community banks. Community banks will avoid primary examination and enforcement by the newly created Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle now seek out ICBA for its input on how provisions would affect community banking. The SIGN law defines community banks as distinct from the megabanks, which ICBA has fought for and supported since the Banking Act of 1933 was first passed. While the law creates some new regulatory requirements for community banks, it does not regulate both community banks and big banks alike. We are in a new regulatory era where the megabanks will finally be regulated, as they should be, separate and apart from community banks. The process is far from complete, and it will take several years for regulators to flesh out each of the law's titles, subtitles, and sections. There are still 243 required rulemakings. There are 67 different studies that have grown out of the law and 22 congressional reports that will result from the law. The majority of these will mostly affect the megabanks, but ICBA will monitor and comment on them each step of the way. ICBA will also continue to create educational materials and resources to help its members understand and manage new compliance requirements that affect us. This is going to be a journey of 100 yards, and we're on yard 10. As the new law is implemented and the regulations are written, debated, and adopted, ICBA will be there at every turn to help protect community bankers and their customers. As we have been for 80 years, ICBA will continue to be the voice of community banking.